I just did a rant about this, and I'm trying to collect my thoughts exactly about how I want to say this, because I start rambling. But I did a rant about basically like how I feel that there's this need. I have a need to stay angry all the time, especially like at this point in my life. Especially, I have a need to stay angry all the time. Upon learning that anger, just like any other emotion, I learned this in therapy. Anger, like any other emotion, is not inherently good or bad. It's just a signal. It's a message. It's like any other emotion. It's neutral, and it can be applied in a good way or a bad way. And anger is kind of this sense that injustice has been done. And it's never been explained to me that way. And of course, it's always, for as it has been for a lot of us, been framed as something that we have to get rid of. That's something we should never be angry. But I feel like I finally understand when Bruce Banner was like, "That's my secret. I'm always angry," because anger is not something that you can just kill. You can't. It's impossible. And I'm trying to learn to live with it as a companion, to not judge it, to observe it, and and see and see what it needs, instead of trying to repress it, because if you repress it, just like the Hulk, it's gonna fucking come out. It's gonna fucking explode. um and hence why people have anger issues. Why I've had anger issues, and like the past few months I haven't had a flare up of my temper. This is probably the longest that I've had, or I have, but this is the least number of flare ups that I've had in years. However, I'm still always angry, and I need to be. I think I need to be, because when you've been living with codependency for a long time, and your eyes are opened, you know, at some level, like you make very often you'll make some radical change. I mean, like, I'm not doing this bullshit anymore. But we can't ignore the fact that, like, this is a habit. Like, you have made this a habit, like a way that you have lived for a long fucking time, and it's completely unrealistic to believe that that part of you is just completely gone forever as of right now. You're going to slip back into your old ways. I know I do, mentally at least. I slip back into my old ways, and I start making excuses for other people, and I start, feeling like I need people, and I start, wondering, like, if I overreacted when these people, manipulated me and treated me a certain way and all this shit. I start second guessing, and that anger pulls me back. That sense of injustice reminds me about what exactly it was. It takes those codependency glasses off. It gives me clarity. That anger gives me clarity continuously as to what that really was. And I'm angry at and I'm angry at the people. I'm angry at the situation. I'm angry that I went through this for so long. I'm angry that, that my self-worth was attributed to something that it did not need to be attributed to for so fucking long. That, like, I'm so angry that these things happened that I am so fucking willing to make sure that they don't happen again. A lot of, there's a saying that, like, when someone becomes very angry, like, they're blinded by rage. And I feel like this anger it's like the opposite. I feel like I'm, I don't know, clarified with rage. I don't know, like, illuminated by rage. The rage helps me see things more clearly. And if that anger is what keeps me alive, if that anger is what keeps me away from unhealthy people, both past and possibly future, if that anger is what keeps me alive, then so be it. Then so be it. And I think it's I really do think it's necessary. That's the only thing. It's the only way things change. Like, anger is absolutely necessary, because that's how, things change in society, because people get angry, because we get angry because things are happening that are not right, and we want justice. We want justice because of our anger, and we should never stop searching for justice, both in terms of the world and for ourselves. And so, at least for me right now, I'm at that point, as someone who's put themselves on the back burner for basically most of their life. I'm staying angry. I'm staying angry, and I don't care who is uncomfortable about it. I don't care at all. Because being angry all the time, I've learned, is not the same as having an out of control temper. It's not the same as having anger management issues, which I've had. And ironically, now that I have self-identified as being angry all the time, I feel like I actually have a grip on my anger for the first time in my life. It's controlled. It's my companion. It's my Hulk. It's my Hulk. It's keeping me alive. It really, really is. You know, and so, yeah, I'm staying angry. The notion that we shouldn't be angry definitely created by institutions and people that want to control us. You see that a lot in the church. You see that a lot towards women. Angry women. We shouldn't be angry. Which makes sense, because if someone is not allowed to be angry, then they will not be able to see when injustice is being done to them or anyone else around them, because they're not allowed to be angry. You're trying to take away that capability. And when you don't believe that you need justice, you're very easy to control and manipulate. Very easy. But no more. No more. And so when I start to slide back into those ways, I turn to my anger, my controlled anger. This anger that I've examined, that I haven't just allowed to run wild and out of control, like an anger that I've examined and really sat with. I let that anger be a friend and pull me back and be like, no, bitch, remember what this experience did to you. Remember how this led to you going to rock fucking bottom. Remember how this led to you feeling like not only your opinion and not only your feelings, but your life didn't matter. Do you remember that? Remember that? Don't forget. Don't forget. Because we're not going back there ever again. Not with old people, not with new people. And I'm like, thank you, anger. Thank you. This is a process that for me, because of how deeply rooted this bullshit is for me, is a continuous process. It's happening all the time, every hour on the hour even, like that fucking frequently for me. It's always happening. But that is okay. Because as I am angry all the time, this is also the time that I've never felt more peaceful, and more, I guess, happy. I don't even know about happy, but definitely at peace. I feel more at peace now that I'm angry all the time. Give it a try. Might help.